Hi, I'm Natalia Vasquez, and I'm going to be doing my presentation on nonverbal communication. The articles I chose for the presentation was The Analysis of Nonverbal Communication, The Dangers of Pseudoscience in Security and Justice Context, and then the second one was The Facial Expression of Pain in Humans Considered from a Social Perspective, Philosophical Transactions of the Royal Society. It was in that. Sorry about that. And the keywords from the first article, the article titled The Analysis of Nonverbal Communication, The Dangers of Pseudoscience in Security and Justice Context, published in 2020. The keywords were pseudoscience, nonverbal communication, SPOT, behavioral analysis interview, and scenaриology. And for the second article, the article titled The Facial Expressions of Pain in Humans Considered from a Social Perspective, published in 2019 from the Philosophical Transactions of the Royal Society. The keywords were pain, nonverbal facial expressions, human beings, social context, and evolutionary psychology. And the takeaway from Article 1 was that nonverbal communication generally refers to any communication made other than by words. Wording is weird, but for example, a person's physical and vocal characteristics, transit information, nonverbal behaviors. Example of that would be facial expressions and gestures, and interpersonal distances also play an important role in face-to-face interactions. And that's from page 2. And also in that, it says that the BAI, essentially in the first step, an investigator would conduct a non-accusatory interview with the suspect, and they pay special attention to the suspect's nonverbal behaviors when they're answering certain questions. So maybe if they're fidgeting with their fingers or stuff like that. It's an example of nonverbal communication. And then lastly, in that article, it talks about how gestures are also versions of nonverbal communication, like I just said. For example, hand movements are supposedly of the utmost importance because looking at the hands, following them and all their movements on the face and body seems to be the best way to decipher the emotions and therefore the thoughts of our interlocutor. And that was from page 5. And then takeaway from Article 2 talks about pain in humans, so we'll get to that. And that also mentions that the facial expression for pain is used a lot, and it's a form of nonverbal communication. And lastly, it says that 6 out of 9 studies showed that social context had an effect on the facial pain expression. So, like making a sad face, that would be a form of nonverbal communication. And then for concluding remarks, in the book titled Looking Out, Looking In by Adler and Proctor, published in 2017, it states, but it includes messages transmitted by vocal means that don't involve languages, such as sighs, laughs, throat clearing, and other sorted noises. And of course, it includes the features most people think of when they consider nonverbal communication: body language, gestures, facial expressions, and eye contact. And that was from page 23. Following the book's definition of nonverbal communication, we see that it ties in with both articles. Look at that typo. Article 1 talks about nonverbal communication being communication made by anything other than words, and Article 2 talks about facial expressions, which is also mentioned in our textbook. Look at the typo there. And then I have my references, and that's all.